Welcome back. This is the first video from the playlist Intermediate Algebra. The first topic in Intermediate Algebra is numbers. Here we'll be covering natural numbers, whole numbers, prime, and composite numbers. So you should know that the first important thing or important concept in math is numbers. So the first set of numbers is the natural numbers, and at times, mainly referred to as counting numbers. These are expressed as follow. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and goes on and on and on. So the second set of numbers are whole numbers, and whole numbers include the set of natural numbers with the inclusion of the zero. So natural numbers that has the set of natural numbers that contain a zero is then a whole set of whole numbers. So if it starts from zero, we call that whole. Next, we have prime numbers. So before we list the set of prime numbers, it's important to go over little concepts. So prime numbers is a number greater than 1 that has 1 and itself as a factor. So what that looks like is we can pick a number that is greater than 1 and has 1 and itself as a factor. So let's pick 3. So the number 3. So the number 3 has factors 1 and itself 3. So 3 is a prime number because 3 is greater than 1 and it has 1 and itself as a factor. So we see that we go 1 times 3 is equal to 3. And here we have the factors. So let's take a look at natural numbers again. If we multiply two natural numbers, which 1 and 3 is a natural number. If we multiply 1 and 3, we get 3. So the multiplication of natural numbers is another natural number. Let's then list the partial list for prime numbers. So remember, a prime number is a number greater than 1 and has 1 and itself as a factor. So if we take a look at our natural and whole numbers, we can write out our prime factors or prime numbers from those set of numbers. So it has to be greater than 1. So we go 2, which 2 has a factor of 1 in itself, 3 a factor of 1 in itself, 5 a factor of 1 and itself, 7 has a factor of 1 and itself, and it's greater than 1. So we can just then list out a little bit more. 29 goes on and on, and also these goes on and on. So as always, a prime number is a number that is greater than 1 and has a factor of 1 and itself. So let's take a look at composite numbers. So a natural number greater than 1, a natural number that is greater than 1 and is not a prime number is a composite number. Well, not a prime number. So natural number greater than 1 and is not a prime number is a composite number. So let's take a look at the number 15 somewhere out here. And it's 15 is not a prime number. If there was 15, it would be somewhere here. So that is a composite number. So the number 15, we can see that 15 can be written as 1 times 15, but we can see that 15 can also be written as 3 times 5. So 15 first of all is greater than 1. It's not a prime number, and it has factors other than 1 itself. So that will be 3 times 5. So we see that 3 is a factor different from 1 and itself 15. So 3 times 5 is 15, so that is a composite number. We can then illustrate that a little better by using a number 120, which 120 is a natural number greater than 1, however, is not a prime number. So that makes it a composite number. We can break that down using the factor tree method to find the factors of this number. So 2 times 60, 120, we'll bring our 2 down. 2 times 30 is 60. Bring our 2 down. 2 times 50 is 30. Bring our 2 down. And we get 3 times 5. Here we can see our factors. And as you can see, our factors is actually prime numbers. So the number 2 is greater than 1, and it has a factor of 1 in itself. 3 is greater than 1, has a factor of 1 in itself. 5 is greater than 1, and it has a factor of 1 in itself. So these are natural numbers. Sorry, prime numbers. Composite number. Composite number. And for every composite number, there's a unique prime factorization. So let's also include that. So 120 can be written as the product of prime numbers. So as we mentioned earlier, all these are prime numbers. So a product of prime numbers. And if you use your calculator, you'll see that that is equal to 120. So as we mentioned earlier, every composite number has a unique prime factorization, and it is customary to write the prime factors in order from smallest to largest. Branches of the tree are made by writing each composite number as a product that includes the smallest prime number or prime factor of the composite number. So 2 is the smallest, and here we have the composite number. So let's take a look at some examples. So I'm going to write number 41, number 1, and let's go 35. Let's go 200. So we want to classify each number as a prime or a composite. And if possible, we want to write each number as a product of prime numbers. So if we take a look at the first number, 41, we see that 41 is not a composite number. And if it's not a composite number, it's actually a natural number, which is it's a counting number. However, though, we see that the factors of that number is greater than 1, and it has a factor of 1 and itself, 41. Thus, 41 is a prime number. So A is a prime number. B, number 1, natural number because it's a counting number. And in our case, number 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. So it has to be greater than 1 to be a composite number. has to be greater than 1 to be a prime number. And it has to have a factor other than itself. It has to have a factor other than 1 and itself to be a composite number. So the number 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number, because prime and composite number must be greater than 1. So we're just going to use NE for neither, because we're classifying these numbers. C, 35. So the number 35 is a composite number. First of all, if you remember, it has to be greater than 1, and it has to have factors other than 1 and itself to be a composite number. 35 does not just have 1 and itself, it has different factors, because we can say 5 times 7 is equal to 35. So here we see that it has 5 and 7 as factors other than 1 and itself. And it can be written as a product of prime numbers. 5 and 7 are prime numbers. 200. The number 200 is a composite number because it's greater than 1 and it has factors other than itself. So we can write 200 as 10 times 20, which is equal to 200. All right, that's it for today's video. See you in the next one. Bye.